Hey, it's Lene Javette, CEO and founder of CoSire.com. And today I want to talk to you about, I don't even know the right terminology to use, but let's say, we're going to call it domestic violence. We're going to say that it is domestic violence. Issues that are happening in our community. A lot of these things are played out. We see it between woman and woman online. We just saw what happened with the young teenager that was killed in school. There's a lot of violence that's taking place in our community. I have a friend that's very near and dear to my heart who I just spoke with the other day who had a violent altercation, and is brave enough to come forward and talk about it because she wants to make sure that these violent situations that are happening in our community are being spoken about, that we as sisters are embracing each other, that we don't take entertainment as law, the fighting that we see going on reality television, the fights that are being shared on social media. A lot of these things are perpetuated through media. But when it happens and it's real life and it happens to someone that you love, how do we deal with that? How do we get through that? So she reached out to me and said she wanted to tell her story. And I said, awesome, great, let's do that. Let's get this out. This is not a young girl, 14, 15, 16, 20, 21, 22. This is a grown woman. So these things are happening at grown levels. And I think that was one of the most shocking things to me. So this is going to be an intense conversation. This is my disclaimer to you. If you are a person there's probably going to be some cussing. It's probably going to be emotional, maybe a tearjerker. It might be emotional to you if you've gone through the situation. If you haven't gone through the situation, it could opening up eyes for you. It could be red flags. So that's my disclaimer. In case you don't want to go any further, this conversation could go way left, it could go way right. I don't know, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let me introduce one of my good friends, Miss Sybil. Sybil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely amazing today.
And you look absolutely amazing today. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I really appreciate you coming on and being open. So before we get into the actual altercation itself, will you tell the people who you are, what you do, with as far as you want to, whatever you'd like people to know about, just the type of a person that you are, so that they can get kind of some background on you before we go into the actual altercation that took place?
Okay, I'm Sybil, originally from New Orleans. I'm a business owner, college grad, mother of three. I work in the community. I do a lot of community service work. I'm an advocate. I actually sit on a board, a domestic violence board. I sit on a board with the Women's Commission. I'm a caring person. I'm giving, I'm kind, and I'm loving. So I'm nervous now. It's the first time I'm actually going to be really open, uncut, tell the truth. And it could happen to me. It could happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. Okay, so again, like I said before we went on the air, just whatever you're comfortable with, whatever it is that you want to communicate. The reason why we're having this conversation is because it could happen to anyone, and it's probably happening to a lot of people, and they're not talking about it. They're not coming forward. They may not even recognize it's domestic violence. They may not recognize the red flags, and so that's why I want to have this conversation. We want to have it for our young girls. We want to have it for our grown women. We want to have it for our mothers, our aunts, our daughters, and so that's why we're having this conversation. So would you please take us through what happened to you just recently this week? Take your time. Take your time.
Dating this guy, and I thought he was the one. I'm like, if you're not the one, you're the prototype.
How long did you know him? So let's tell me, how did you meet him?
I met him at a gas station.
I met at a gas station. Okay.
I met him at the gas station. I was looking at my gas pump. I hate pumping gas in there. And I'm like looking, I paid for the gas. He's like, are you paying for gas? Let me pump that for you. And it was, it was just on after that. I'm like, okay, you can pump the gas. I paid for it though. So
Hey, it's okay to pay for your own gas.
yeah.
As long as somebody else is pumping. So you met him at the gas station. You
Hmm.
paid for your gas. He pumped the gas. You guys exchanged numbers. How long ago was that? When did you guys meet?
Probably about 9 months ago.
So 9 months ago.
About, so,
Okay,
yeah.
9 months ago. So then, fast forward to, let's say, 6 months into the relationship. So about 3 months ago. Tell me about that. What could have been a red flag situation.
Red flag situation. Um, Me seeing him not really being balanced. He would be really, really warm and loving and caring one day, and the next day he would be cold and just mean for no reason. And he would come back and he would apologize. Hey, sorry for the way I talked to you. I'm sorry that I yelled at you. I'm sorry that I disrespected you. And I'm like, oh, did you disrespect me? That's what I'm thinking. The signs were definitely there, and I just didn't see him. He would do stuff, the yelling, and um, I downplayed it. I downplayed it. I'm like, oh, he's a black man. He's hurt from, he had a failed marriage. He had an ex-girlfriend that had broke his heart. And I'm like, I'm going to love him and care for him through this because he's a good guy. So.
Yeah. So 3 months ago, you're at his house. You're staying over at his house. And I think there was a noise in the middle of the night or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was a few months ago. Spent the night at his house. Had a great night. Dinner, movies. Maybe 5:30 in the morning, a bam comes on the door. Bam, bam, bam. I jump up. I'm scared. I'm like, somebody's coming in here. They're gonna do something to us. He grabs his gun. I didn't even know he was a gun owner. He grabs his gun and he goes to the door and he walks around the house. So at this point, I'm like, I'm feeling safe. He has a gun. He's gonna protect me. And I immediately, he was like, I didn't see anybody out there. And it dawned, it just hit me. And I said, that was a chick. And we laughed about it. I said, I know the chick knock. I said, that was a female.
The chick knock.
And he's like, no, he said no. He's like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anybody. So we laid back down, went to bed, and I thought about it. I'm like, that was definitely a female. Mm-hmm. He said, no, I don't think so. And we never talked about it. We just let it pass. Never mentioned it again. Just let it go.
So for 9 months, regular dating, going out, dealing with kids, staying over, slight signs, nothing too crazy. Maybe, these are my words, maybe Tourette's, a little bipolar. Again, these are my words, highs and lows of dating and work and the stresses of life. Tell us about the other night. Tell us how the actual altercation actually started.
Okay, that night. I slept at his house. The prior week, I slept at his house three nights that week. He was with I'm really making an effort, and I want this to work. And I was like, okay, he's really making an effort. He wants us to work. So that particular night, I spent the night again. 6 o'clock in the morning, we're in the bed. That's not came. This time, I was scared. It sounded like the door was coming off the hinges. That's how bad the knock was. Then I heard a glass shatter. So the girl had broken the glass. So he gets up this time. He didn't grab his gun or anything. He looked around, came back, and first thing he said, he was like, hey, I got to get you home. I need to get you, out of harm's way. So I'm thinking, what is he talking about? I'm like, what's going on? He didn't say anything else. And I ended up going home. We had conversations throughout the day. He's like, I didn't want anything to happen to you. And I was like, something didn't sit well with me about that particular time. He didn't say, hey, I went back. This is what I found. He didn't say anything. And it was just really, really awkward. So we did a bunch of texting throughout the day. And he's constantly telling me how I wanted you to be safe. And I'm like, so who was it? He was like, I think it might have been her. Who's her? Her from a couple of months ago? So I was like, okay.
Now we're getting
Yeah, take in mind, I just have to go back for a second. Take in mind, probably about 2 months prior, we had another run-in. Same person. And I didn't tell this to anybody. I was sitting in a business meeting and everybody asked me what happened to my hand. It was swollen. My finger was broke at the time. And I'm sitting in a meeting and they're like, what happened? And I downplayed it. I didn't tell the truth about what happened to my hand. So I ended up talking to one girl that I told her the truth. I said, hey, was at his house, this girl's there. Here's kind of like altercation. My hand got slammed in a thing. And going back to that night and keeping it real, I was outside. You said you cared about me. I was outside of your house. Somebody's trying to attack me. You were inside of your house with your door locked. And we were outside like two fools. I'm trying to get in my car. I get in my car. She's pulling my car door open and slamming my hand in and out the car door. And I just needed to go back to that. And I'm like, somebody that cared about you, he didn't come out to stop whatever was going on or to even try to get any of us to safety. He was in his house with his door locked. I don't know. That's something I didn't tell.
and that's important when we're talking about red flags, when we're talking about seeing the signs. Um, in that moment, I guess, maybe you're not thinking clearly in that moment that he's inside. You're thinking, I need to leave this, I need to leave the house, I need to leave the situation. She's not thinking clearly. And then just from a sisterhood standpoint, neither one of you are standing there thinking, why are me and you going at it? And he's clearly the one that's the issue, right? So it's the red signs. It's paying attention. I mean, because we could have stopped it could have stopped then. We could have been like, you know what? I'm done with this.
Absolutely.
I'm not dealing with this. It's a wrap. But we did it. We stayed in it. We're at the other night. You hear the shatter at the door. You leave. There's the text messages back and forth.
Yes.
And then you get the text message that says to, which
Come
came
over.
first? The come over text message? Yeah. Then you get the text message that says to come over.
Yes. Got a text message, told me to come over. And I'm like, okay. So I get there. I'm knocking on the door. He's taking kind of long to come to the door. I'm like, maybe he's in the bathroom. Maybe he took a shower. So I'm knocking on the door. Here comes a phone call. And he says, don't call or text me anymore. Don't come to my house anymore. But you just told me to come over. So I'm looking at the text. You told me to come over. Knocking at the door. I'm like, something isn't right. Here comes a car pulling up. Pulls up in the grass. And it was her. She hops out of the car. I'm banging on the door even harder because I know what's going on. I'm trying to, can you let me in? I'm scared. She had told you in the past, when I see her, I'm going to run up on her. I'm scared. Let me in here. So he had something at the window that she had broken earlier. So I'm knocking on the door and I see a hand or whatever happened, but he pulled my hand through the window. And he's like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? Because at this point, he knew that I was done with the relationship. And he pulled my hand through the window and he says, I should call the police and tell them that you're trying to break in. And I'm like, what? She's standing out there. I'm banging on the door because, again, I want in. He finally opens the door, pulls me in there. At this point, it was some words exchanged. And the next thing I know, he pulled a gun out. Put the gun to my head, put the gun to my mouth. And at that point, I thought he was going to kill me. So I'm like, if you're going to kill me, you know what? Just do it. I said, just kill me. I said, after all that I've done for you. And after that, he pushed me away. And so I was like, I better get out of here. Left out the house, looked over. She's, leaning on her car, smiling, smirking, hands folded. Said a couple of words to me. I said something back. I'm like, he's sleeping with you, he's sleeping with me, and he's sleeping with everybody else. So at this point, I'm like, He belongs to the community. And I don't know, for me at that point, I was hurt, but I was mad.
Angry.
Um, I'm my sister's keeper, always. So all these thoughts are running through my head. I'm going to my car and I'm going to get something and I'm going to do to you what you just did to me.
Mm-hmm.
Walking away and I'm looking and she's laughing. But I'm my sister's keeper always. So I'm thinking, I don't know. But I was going to do to them what they did to me. Got to my car and it was nothing but God. And it was like, your life is going to be over.
So in
And
that split second,
a split second, I felt my life being gone.
So you went from angry, going to your car to grab something or another.
Exactly.
To hurt someone else. A decision that could have literally changed your life in a hot second if you had done ill will to someone else. And I say that not really having a full understanding of self-defense. So, if you would have done something to one of them, would that be considered self-defense? If she wasn't actually charging you and he had actually let you go and you made it to your car safely, would they consider that self-defense if you had then turned and done harm? So to make that decision in that split second, in the matter of 35 seconds, your life could have changed. You wouldn't even be here to talk to us right now. From so many different perspectives, that situation could have played out. It could have been a shootout. Neither one of you guys could be here. He could have shot you. You could be dead. You could be dead. You could have shot him. You could be in jail. There's so many things that can happen in a split second when we put ourselves. Let me rephrase that. Not when we put ourselves in that kind of situation. That's not what I want to say. When those types of situations arise, that's what we'll say. When those types of situations arise. So you made the choice not to have a knee-jerk reaction. You made the choice to put your family, your kids, your life, your livelihood first. And so you did not react with violence. So then what happened after that?
I realized I'm bleeding at that point. I looked down at my feet. Blood is all over. I felt something on my feet. It was tissue. My arm had been cut so bad that tissue fell out of my arm. And she's still smirking, still saying some words to me. And I'm standing there. And I think that's when it hit me like, I'm my sister's keeper. I'm in need. Like, help me. But I'm still mad. I'm going to keep it real. I'm still mad at this point. And I'm standing there. And I look at my arm. And I'm pissed. I'm hurt. I'm pissed. I'm like, all that I've done for you. So I'm still thinking, I'm going to do to you what you did to me. And then I looked and I'm like, it wasn't worth it. I don't know. And I think like even now, I'm like, if I could replay that moment all over again, what would I have done? Would I have done it the same? Probably not. I'm having all these emotions. I don't even know how I feel right now. I'm like, what do I do? Somebody hurt me and it's okay. It was like it was okay, like it was nothing. And for me, now I'm sitting back replaying. Did I see the signs? I saw them. I saw them. You absolutely saw the signs. He told you, I'm not shit and I'll never be shit. And me, the social worker, me, I'm my brother's keeper, I'm my sister's keeper. Let me help this black man. Let me love you back. I saw the signs. They were there. So for me, I'm mad at myself right now. I'm mad at the situation and I'm yo-yoing with myself right now. Like, you hurt me. So I went to the hospital and I'm sitting here and I have to have surgery on my arm. They don't know if my hand is going to be fully functional again. I have no use of my right hand. So all these emotions I'm battling right now because I'm still like, I want to do to you what you did to me. This is my livelihood. I write for a living. What do I do now? where are the police? What the criminal justice system? Who's going to help me?
So the
I'm
police came out though, right? I think we had
yeah,
the police came out
yeah.
and they
Came
said that
out.
it was your word against his.
My word against his. After let's get this straight. After I attempted to break in his house, because that's what they said.
And
They said I attempted to break in the house. The girl, she made the report. She called the police. She said I was breaking into his home. Yeah.
so the police show up are basically no help because they excuse me, your word against his word against yours, their word against yours.
Mm-hmm.
You end up at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Your livelihood is at risk, and they walk away into the sun. I think we had this conversation and we said that she had a winning type of a mentality, as if she had just won a prize, as if she was, you know.
I'm it. He chose me. Look at what he's doing to you for me. I'm winning. Um, and I'm trying to understand that. I'm trying to understand that I'm always posting, I'm always showing in my actions as a black woman. I'm my sister's keeper. If I run across that guy that's separated and you're trying to talk to me, hey, go get that divorce. Why don't you try to work that marriage out? If I run across that guy that says, hey, my baby's mama don't let me see let me help you work that situation out, because I'm my sister's keeper every day, all day.
My
So at
sister's
this point, I'm
keeper.
like, why was it not done back to me? You sat back with a smirk on your face, laughing at the situation because you won.
And I think if I listen to you talk, like the reality is I think you have more of a heart of my sister's keeper, my brother's keeper. I think you're more of a my community keeper person, not just my sister's keeper, because um you were there for this man as well, right? Like I think it went both ways.
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
that what we walk away from the situation is that we have to do better as a community. We have to do better as women, sticking by other women. We have to do better as men. Like as a man, he should not have let this situation transpire between the both of you. Even, I'm not saying it's okay to play women. I'm not saying it's okay to play women. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But as a man who puts two women into the situation, you should then mediate how this goes down. There should be no altercation. Nobody should get hurt. There should be no physical harm. That's one. No, that's two. One, a brother shouldn't pull a gun on a sister. Let's start there. A brother should not be pulling a gun out on a sister. That is one. There should be no violent situations between brothers and sisters. That's the first one. The second one is, if you see a situation that you've put these two women in, you should definitely mediate to make sure that it does not become um, a violent altercation. That should be two. And then three, we're seeing all these things that are happening on the news, in social media, on television, that are being perpetuated in our real lives. Like this is a situation that should not be happening. It should not be acceptable. And I don't want to pull the status card, but I'm going to, because we think about these types of things happening as if they happen in different uh, not different communities, different classes. So we think that this is the type of stuff that's happening in the hood or in the ghettos or in communities that we don't live in. But these things are happening to working class women, entrepreneurs, business owners, middle class women. And unlike you, so let me say thank you to you for coming forward and speaking on it. A lot of women, they're not talking about it. And so it keeps getting pushed or brushed under the rug because we don't talk about the things that are happening in our community. We don't talk about what happened to us and how it affected us, and put it out there so that it doesn't happen to another woman, or so that another woman understands and recognizes the red flags. You saw the red flags. While you were in it, you may not have identified it as a red flag because when love is new and it's fresh and it feels good, you just think, you know what, I'll love him through it. We can get past that until it
Absolutely.
blows up. So our goal with this is that some woman may be in this situation right now thinking, oh, I'll love him through it, not realizing that there's some things you can't love a man through. And brothers, if you see somebody out there, if you see a man that's not being genuine or authentic or a kingly with the woman, it's your responsibility as well to say, "Hey, man, that's not right. That's not how we treat the women in our lives. That's not how we show young kings and young men that are coming up behind us how to behave and how to act." Right? So let's see. So you're at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
The police said that it's your word against theirs. They call you while you're at the hospital, right?
Absolutely. They called me while I was at the hospital. They hear the doctor and the nurse in the background. I'm like, this is the police. They're like, well, hey, did you follow through, whatever, with going to the hospital because I didn't want to be transported by paramedics because who's going to go back with me to get my car? They never mentioned anything about that. So I'm laying there. The doctor says, this is serious. What's going on is serious. They're asking, what room are you in? She's like, it's 24. If you're coming, come, but this is serious. So I get off the phone. But before that, they're asking me, am I going to go file warrants on him? They're telling me to go file warrants on him. I'm pissed. Now you're telling me, because I told you he had a gun. You're telling me, well, he said he didn't have a gun. Did you go look in the house? Did you even look? So now you're telling me to file a warrant on this man. I file a warrant on him. He gets pissed because he'll get arrested. He'll get out and he comes and kill me. And then you're going to say he has a gun? I'm absolutely not going to file that warrant. Absolutely not. I tried to go do a no contact order. I couldn't write. Couldn't even fill out the report. So here comes a guy walks up to me and he says, hey, he hands me this purple piece of paper that I'm so familiar with because I hand it out all the time because I work with women. That are experiencing domestic violence. I provide therapy services to those women. And when he handed me that purple paper, I'm like, not me. And I found myself on the other end. I'm needing help. I had to call the domestic violence line to get help so that somebody could help me to fill out a piece of paper because I can't write. And I was embarrassed and shamed because I talk to these people all the time and they see me all the time. And now I'm calling you and I'm like, do I call? I call. Matter of fact, I need to go back. And I'm embarrassed. I'm like, how do I walk in there with my head up and say, this happened to me? And guess what? I'm scared.
And I think that that's what you say. You say, this happened to me and I'm scared. Because I think that that's why most women don't talk about it. That's why most women don't report it. They're scared. They're embarrassed. But by not talking about it and by not reporting it, you give the other person power and you allow it to happen to another woman, someone that you might know, someone that you love, a niece, a sister, an aunt. We in our community do not speak up enough, share, communicate the bad things that happen to us or with us. And I think that that's important because somebody else is going through it. Somebody else has gone through it. Somebody else is in the middle of it. Someone needs healing from it. And they need to know that they're not the only person. I think especially for women like us, I haven't gone through that, through it particularly, but if I were to put myself into the situation, I don't even know if I really can. You want to ask yourself, how could this happen to me? How could this happen to me?
And I've done that. That's what I did.
Okay.
How could it happen to me? I'm like, and I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about, here I am. I'm like, and this is crazy because I saw myself falling into the patterns that the women that I see do. I'm sitting back. I'm like, I own a business. My business, I have a business in 5-6 different states. I have a master's degree. I don't drink. I don't party. I'm like, I'm trying to justify. I sit on boards and I'm like, none of that shit matters. None of it matters. Guess what? Right now, you dealt with somebody. And I'm thinking, I'm like, God, bought things for your children. I put food in your freezer when you didn't have any. I helped you. You called me and you thanked me for motivating you. And here I am sitting back and I'm like, me? This didn't happen to me. I'm like, no, not me. I'm a clinical social worker. Now I'm trying to justify all this stuff. I'm not just a social worker. I don't just push paper. I'm a clinical social worker. How did you not see? So then after this, now I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm breaking myself down. And this is the truth. This is, if anybody watches this is nothing we planned. This is no scripted anything. But I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Here comes the crazy part. And maybe nobody's going to understand it, but this is what happens when you get in these situations. Now I'm looking at myself. I'm why didn't he do it to her? You know what I mean? Why didn't he do it to her? Why didn't he pull her arm through the door? Now I'm getting mad again. Why you did it to me? Was she better than me that you didn't do it to her? What was it about me? It was a fuck me, fuck my feelings. I don't give a shit about you. I'm going to do this to you and I don't care. And for her, I'm bleeding. You see this. I'm hurting. And you're laughing like you're making a mockery of what I'm going through. And now here I am. I don't know if I'm broken, if I'm not broken. I don't know. What do I do? What do I do now? I tell people where to go, where to get resources. I have that safe place. But now we're talking about something totally different. Now we're talking about how do I deal with my emotions? Because I'm still mad. I'm still mad. I'm in so much pain. I'm mad. So I'm going from I forgive you because I know that's the right thing to do. I know that's the right thing to do. But I want you to feel what I'm feeling because I'm hurting. Like physically hurting. Where's the police to help me? I've called them twice. They're not gonna call me back. What do I do at this point? So I'm going through all of this stuff. Everything from questioning my self-worth to you're no different than that lady that, like you said, comes to you, the girl from the hood or the lady that doesn't know any better. Because now we're on the same platform, honey. I'm no different than you. All that therapy I do, all of that motivation stuff, I'm like, guess what? We're on the same platform because I am you right now.
I think a lot of the things that we think separate us and make us different, money, status, where we live, location, it makes some people feel as if I'm better than you or these things cannot happen to me. And I think when they hit close to home, it is a slap in the face, but it's a reality slap in the face that as a community, we are a community. We are one and the same. No issue is different at this level than at this level.
Absolutely.
We're dealing with the same problems. We're dealing with the same issues. I think when you start climbing the ranks with regards to statuses, what you expose and what you let out and what you let people see becomes different. And so people may feel and think that when you get to a certain level, these things aren't happening. It's just that you get quieter, right? People don't see it and hear it. It's not as open. It's not as out as it is when you're in a different type of a situation. So I want to say this. I want to say that this conversation is about being safe. This conversation is about sisterhood. It's about brotherhood. It's about loving each other. It's not male bashing, and it's not black man bashing. It's about being cautious with who we date. It's about being cautious in the situations that you put yourself in, because this could be man or woman. It could have been reversed. It could have been a woman beating up on a man, shooting at me. It could have been reversed. It's about not jumping on another woman if the man is doing something wrong. It's about if you see that somebody's reacting in a negative way and you are there, sticking up for that person, even if that's your man and he's being dirty. Do not let a man hurt a woman. And you, as a woman, do not sit back and watch your sister be hurt or taken advantage of either. That's what this conversation is about. In light of all of the negativity that is pushed on us in the media, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and all that fighting and cat fighting that goes on there, all the fight videos that are shown on social media, glamorizing violence. It's not glamorous, and it's definitely not appropriate. And it hits home. It's very different when it happens to someone that you know, love, and care about than it is when you're watching it on a video, on your phone, and social media, and you don't know that person. So you don't get to hear the story that happened afterwards. You don't get to find out what happened with the police. You don't know how the altercation turned out, the mental status of the person, what they have to go through, and on how they feel about themselves, and what they're going to be like in their next relationship, how they're going to deal with their brother, their sister the next time that goes around. We don't know those things. That's what this conversation is about. And I pray that somebody hears it and sees it and looks at their situation, if it's a negative one or a bad one, and there's some red flags that they ignored. Most times when you talk to a woman who's gone through a situation like this, she says, there were flags. There were things that happened that should have sent a signal to me, but I didn't take it seriously, or I didn't see it through, or I thought I could love him through it. We have that innate gut feeling. We see it. And it's not a blame game. And I think when you get to the end, some of the embarrassment comes from, it's my fault. I should have said something. I saw it. And
Did that yesterday.
We take that, and that's where some of the embarrassment comes from, I think, right? Like,
Did that yesterday. It's my fault. You know what? I shouldn't have went over. But you told me to come over. Then I processed some more. Well, maybe, had I done this, I'm making excuses. This is how that cycle works. I'm making excuses. You know what? Here's some honesty, too. I sat back and I said, you know what? He's broken, so he's not really this bad. That's the excuse making.
mm-hmm.
So typical domestic violence. He's broken, and maybe he did it because, and I stopped. Maybe he did it because I'm justifying why. I'm trying to find reason why. And again, I shouldn't have went over there. Or maybe if I had just given him a little space. Space from what? You called me to your house. And I'm like, I'm making excuses? So typical. Like you said, the embarrassment. I'm embarrassed. Well, normally it doesn't happen to people like me and you. And it does. We get quiet. We don't talk. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to talk, because it was like, now or never. I'll never share this story if I didn't do it now. This is going to make me go back and get that court order. It's going to make me go and get help for myself. If I have to reach out to a colleague, I need some help. Maybe I need some therapy. I do it all the time. But now I need it. How do I heal? Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I want to continue to be my sister's keeper. But I'm mad as hell. Because I'm like, I'm everybody's keeper. Who's my keeper right now?
I'm your keeper.
And it's just, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you taking the time to even, give me an opportunity to let people know. I'm really reserved and shy, and I'm the Mother Teresa in my community. I do good deeds. I do volunteer work, and I'm using all that shit to say, shouldn't have happened to me. No, not me. It doesn't happen to people like that, And guess what? So many more women out there that it happens to every day. I'm sitting back now. I'm like, what happens if my hand? What happens? What happens? It's my livelihood, all because of an incident that could have changed his life. I thought about that as well. What if he had shot me? A few seconds of not thinking rationally What if I had done the same? Lives change forever. How do we prevent stuff like this? Like, do we talk about it more? How do we get women on board to be their sister's keeper? How do we get men to I don't know. I don't know.
We have to love each
So
other more. We have to love each other more. We have to individually be kingly and be queenly. As a man, I should not put these two women in this situation. As a woman, I need to recognize this is Dirty Dick, and this situation is, I shouldn't be in the situation. I definitely shouldn't sit here and watch him attack this woman, right? So as individuals, we have to be accountable for the situation that we put ourselves in.
absolutely.
I think that's first. Because other people are watching. It affects other people. It could have affected his children. It could have affected your children. It would have affected his family. It would have affected your family, your mother, your sister. We don't think about that when we're in the situation. When these young kids are in the bathroom and they're fighting and they're jumping a girl, they're not thinking about, if this young girl dies, how is this going to affect my life? When people pull out their phones and start recording these violent attacks, they're not thinking about, how is this going to end? Why don't I jump in and end this? That's how we fix these things. We have to start talking about them, how wrong they are, not glorifying them, not watching the shows that glorify them or sensationalize them. We have to have these kind of conversations. These are real life conversations. This is with Echo Star, we talk about Black life stories. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of great stuff happening in our community. But we have to talk about the stuff that's not great as well, so that we can get to a place of excellence, so that we can get to a place of greatness. We have to get to a better place where Black men are loving Black women, where Black women are loving Black men, where it's not a matter of us saving each other, but it's a matter of us growing our community together, partnering, building. We can't keep tearing each other down, because what we do, others in our community, others behind us, other brothers, other sisters, they see that, and we perpetuate it, and we allow it to continue and fester and pass on. And so I thank you so much for spending time with me today, because I really want someone, man and or woman, doesn't matter who's watching this video. You could be a man, and you could insert yourself in the situation. If you're dealing with two crazy women, I'm not calling you crazy, Sybil, but if you're dealing with two women and you are the man, this situation could play out in your life. So if you are a man watching this, I hope it inspires you to be like, you know what, let me tell Sheila, XYZ, because I don't want this situation to happen with these women that I know. And or if you're a woman, I want you to start thinking about, okay, that situation happened to me a couple weeks ago, or that I saw that sign written on the wall, and let me take that a little bit more seriously. Or if you're a young girl and you're thinking about going to beat somebody up because she's friended your friend on Instagram and you got an attitude, take a step back. Think about that. Like, is it really that seriously? Not over tail, not over sex, not over relationships. There's too many men and too many women in this world to be fighting, hurting folks, shooting folks, killing folks over, causing people their livelihood. It just doesn't make any sense. So is there anything else that you would like to say or share, Sybil? I appreciate you so much for being here. Like, I cannot even imagine. I'm not even going to pretend to understand what you're going through or imagine what you're going through. But I do appreciate you being so open, so kind, so transparent with your situation, and wanting to help other women and young girls and men, right? Because it's not a one-sided conversation. Understand how a situation can wholeheartedly affect their lives, and how one bad decision can. I mean, and the thing is, which one of the bad decisions? Is it the cheating? Is it the dealing with two women? Is it the going for the gun? Is it the pulling the hand through the window? I mean, there's so many choices.
The bad decision was, guess what? You should have walked away long time ago. You should have walked away when your hand was slammed in a door, sometime prior to that. You should have walked away when you guys had a run-in and she spit on you. And he was in his house. He was in his house. You should have walked away. You should have walked away when you sat down with him and you discussed his family life and we talked about his children, and I found myself encouraging you to go pick up the kids. I should have walked away and I should have saw the signs then, and I didn't. And the only thing I would like to say, if somebody's experiencing this, like, don't be embarrassed, don't be afraid. Pick up the phone, call a friend, call a hotline. If you find yourself in a situation where you're being abused, and sometimes we think about it from a physical perspective, emotional abuse is no different. If you find yourself in that situation, get out as soon as you can. You don't know what tomorrow's gonna hold. And I just ask that you guys keep me in your prayers because I'm only human and I don't know what tomorrow holds for me. I'm gonna try and stay positive and remain my sister's keeper. I'm gonna keep loving the brothers and I don't know. When my hand heals up, I think I'm gonna do a whole bunch of writing. So
I think you
thank you for the
definitely.
opportunity and letting me share.
Yeah,
It's the beginning of a healing process for me. Again, if I had not spoke to you or put it out there, I would have, stepped back and been quiet and story would have never been told.
I think you're gonna find, and I pray that this is true, a lot of support from the community, a lot of support and encouragement from women who have gone through it, a lot of inspiration from women that are in it right now that you've given the heart to get out of the situation, because sometimes you just have to hear that somebody else has gone through it or is dealing with it, and that will give them the um, the strength that they've been looking for and the strength that they need to get out of their situation. So I pray that this video saves somebody's life. That somebody says, you know what, I do not want that situation to happen to me, or this situation has happened enough, or I don't want to cause this situation for someone else. I mean, we have to have this type of dialogue in order to do those things. So I'm so grateful to you. Know I love you. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. You are nothing but a pillar of strength to me. I'm so sorry that this situation happened to you, but I'm thankful that you're a strong woman and that it's not going to break you and that you're going to work through it. And that, I'm here. I'm in your corner anytime you need to talk. If there's anything that you want to talk about or share between me and you, we won't do it on, won't be online. We could definitely do that. So thank you so much for being here with me today, Sybil. Everyone that's out there, thank you so much for watching this video. If there is someone in your life that you see that is a victim of domestic violence, or you know someone, or you see something, get involved. Don't sit back and just watch it. Talk to your daughters about it if they're a bully. Talk to your sons about putting girls in against each other. Talk to your brothers. Don't let this type of behavior infest our community. We have to be our brother's keeper. We have to be our sister's keeper. And we have to be the keepers of our community. I am Lene Javette. I'm the CEO and founder of Crucify. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to follow at Crucify on all social media platforms. We love you. Have a black peace.